All right, what is up, everybody? It's your boy Croissant, and we're talking about Elden Ring Nightreign today, everybody. I mean, this is one game I was immediately excited for, right? I mean, as of recording, Elden Ring Nightreign, it has a few more weeks, right, until it's released. But it is a co-op survival game, in case anybody has been living under a rock, made by Daddy from Soft, right? This is their attempt at merging the single-player Elden Ring experience with a sort of, I would say, gameplay mechanics similar to like survival roguelikes. And as of right now, the player will get to choose from 8 characters with different classes. And this eliminates the custom character aspect that we're just so used to in Elden Ring and in most FromSoft games, and it's definitely a big change up. And the simplicity is going to be something that players have to get used to. But you'll be able to customize certain aspects of these pre-made characters, is my understanding, like their accessories, but I think that's the extent of the customization that affects gameplay. And I'm assuming these are very minor accessory changes. I'm sorry, these are very minor effects gameplay-wise that these accessories impact. But you'll be teaming up with 2 additional allies to track down a Night Lord, right? Those are the big bosses. And you're going to be able to choose that in the menu before your run. Now, the objective of each run will be to survive 3 days and defeat the boss at the final day while also gathering materials. You got to get stronger weapons and armor. And then, of course, right, you get the storm like Fortnite coming in, closing in on the players. Right, there's a few different ways you can choose to play your run. Right, you could choose to hunt enemies, level up, search for weapons and treasure, items, things like that. Infiltrate bases to gather information. I don't know, information on what? Maybe weaknesses on bosses, or locations of very strong items. I don't really know. Or just take down larger elite mobs, right, for elite mob level rewards. So that's just kind of the gist, in case nobody really knew watching this video exactly what Nightreign was. But I want to give a little bit of background on the director. The director for Nightreign is, let me see that, Junya Ishizaki. And he's worked on other FromSoft games, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, Dark Souls 1 and 3. And he's been dropping some small info bombs and interviews about the game, and in one interview with PlayStation Blog, he did mention in the final version of the game, you'll be able to determine the weakness of each boss before heading out. And that's what I'm thinking by you're taking down those bases, infiltrating those bases, right, to gather information. Maybe that's what he's alluding to. But I will say, so if we find out, right, I don't know, because I think so if we find out a boss is weak to poison damage, right, you are encouraged to find poison inflicting or afflicting weapons and spells, right, for instance. And it was also hinted that these bosses could have variants, maybe where the same boss could have different weaknesses, right? It is unclear right now if this is random or pre-selected before you jump into a run, right? But it could help the frustrating RNG if you know this certain boss is weak to poison and you're just not getting poison items, right, or poison weapons. And so the randomization of the loot is another thing, right? Apparently in the network test for Nightreign, there were very few map permutations. And even in the limited time with the storm closing in, players still managed to find optimized routes. And that does impact the repetitiveness. Now, I'm not assuming in the final game that the map locations are going to be randomized, like the entire, so we're on this one map, and everything in the map is completely randomized in terms of those locations. I think the locations, the map is going to stay the same. But I would say loot locations and bigger boss like the elite bosses that are not the Night Lords should be randomized in content and location as well, right? So you're not fighting the same elite mob in the same location every single time, or you're not finding the best loot in one location because let's say this castle over here has 5 chests guaranteed, and this castle over here has only 2 chests guaranteed, and we're never ever going to go into that castle. And so next thing I want to talk about is crossplay, guys. This is a multiplayer game. Nightreign is cross-generational, meaning you can play between PlayStation consoles or the Xbox consoles, whether it's PS4, PS5, or whatever the Xbox equivalent is. That is Series X to S, I forget. But an Xbox player will not be able to play with their friends on PC and PlayStation. And this is extremely disappointing considering FromSoft wants to branch out and expand their multiplayer audience, but they won't add crossplay. And unfortunately, we shouldn't be surprised considering Elden Ring was the same. But come on, guys, it's 2025. Lords of the Fallen just made an update making it crossplay, and that game has an incredible single-player Souls-like experience. So, as someone who wanted to play this game with my friends on Xbox, it is a point against Nightreign, unfortunately. Now, another issue I have is the number of players. Each run has 3 players. You must queue with 3 players or solo. There are no duos, no duo queues. So if only 1 out of 2 of my friends is unavailable, I now have to play solos. And personally, I am not a fan of getting in game chat with randos because I just want to mess around, talk about whatever, right, with my friends in Discord. So I can't imagine playing solo in a 3-player cooperative game and not in game chat. Will be very fun. And I'm sure you won't get the best results. You're not going to beat the Night Lord very well if you're not in game chat and talking to these people and coordinating what you guys are doing. And that's why it's very situational for me. Like, I really want to grind this game, guys. But I love Elden Ring. It's one of my favorite games of all time. But there's these conditions that need to be met before I can even boot up the game. I need to be with at least 2 other people. And they all need to be on the same consoles. And I can't meet those, and if I can't meet those conditions, right, I now need to play solo and in game chat. And then on top of that, I then need to pray that I get paired with 2 teammates who know how to tie their shoes. And that's a lot to ask for, honestly, in 2025. And so, based on the gameplay and recent character trailers, I mean, the graphics are great. The gameplay looks fun. It's the Elden Ring formula. The gameplay just looks super fun, and I can just imagine myself playing it forever. And I'm really liking the enemy selection and the callbacks to older Souls games. I can really commend FromSoft for trying to do something different. But guys, just go all the way with the idea. If you're going to make a multiplayer cooperative game, make sure the player has the option for crossplay. Maybe it was too difficult or time-consuming to program. I'm not sure. I have no idea. I'm not a game developer. I'm not a programmer. I'm not a coder. But as a consumer and someone who likes to talk about this stuff, it's disappointing. So, am I getting Nightreign? Probably not on day 1, considering I have an insane amount of games to get through in my backlog, and I cannot use another distraction. But if it was crossplay, I might consider giving it a try day 1. I will wait for the reviews to come in on how the single player experience feels, because predominantly that's, unless my friends are all getting PCs or I, for some dumb reason, get an Xbox, I can't play with my friends. So let's see how the single player is, and I have not been disappointed from any FromSoft game. So I'll have to wait to make judgments until I see the final game. And let me know what you guys think of Nightreign, guys. Do you think it looks promising? Are you going to get it day 1? And I want to know, what's your favorite sandwich? Let me know down in the comments. Mine is an Italian sub with mayo and no tomatoes, because tomatoes are gross. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.